Today, a little bit of a different topic, different situation, different story. I want to share something with you that I found very sad and disturbing, but also I hope that this video will help and maybe even it will help the person that had sent me this letter. So the topic of this video is escaping the war, running from the war, only to get financially abuse in a marriage. This letter is about a woman that decided to accept a proposal from an American man and decided to give it a chance, give it a shot. She has a small child, and she was promised a beautiful life. And to be honest with you, if you're running from the war, a beautiful life of having peace, of being able to take care of your child, and especially having a man who is supporting you, that alone sounds like a dream. You know, I just before this live stream just got a message from a friend from Ukraine, from Kiev, and she's writing me that they have horrific attacks, drones and missiles, and I don't know. I'm so mortified for those people who did not leave for whatever reason, who have children. It's just awful. But this particular letter, I don't get that many letters from women. But ladies, you are welcome to write me. Well, I'm always glad to share a story or know what my listeners are going through, so it helps me to also know what to talk about. So I I'm not going to read the letter because I was asked not to, but I want to address some very, very important things. I don't know how many people realize and understand how many men who maybe been following my channel for a while and maybe have been dreaming about having a Slavic wife. I don't know how many of you guys realize that when you take on a foreign marriage, when you take on a foreign wife, you sign affidavit of support. You sign to support and protect the woman. I believe that should go without saying, but unfortunately, some men believe that they can take advantage of a woman in this situation that is in the war zone and make her being a slave. And I'm going to talk about this. I really hope that this situation will get resolved. I see only one way of resolving it. Well, okay, maybe two ways. Maybe there could be still a chance, but I have hard time believing that the person that um, does not treat you right from the beginning will treat you right later. I stay very strong on this. So this young woman, she is, I think, 18 years younger than her husband, and she's in her early 30s, wrote me that her husband forced her to go to work so she can help him to pay his debt, to pay his accumulated debt and some other things, and making meals and take care of the home. And basically he really, I think, believed that he can make a that he just because this woman is going through such a crisis, it looks to me that his intentions right away were not pure, were not right. um I want to make this message for all the men who are watching my channel and maybe considering, inviting somebody over. Despite of the situation, or in spite of the situation that going on in Ukraine or anywhere else, you know that you are still responsible for providing the well-being. And if you cannot provide safety, security, and well-being to a woman, you might as well you would be in a better position if you leave that idea alone. You will be in a better position if you find other solutions, because you actually legally binded to take care of this woman. Yeah, nobody's forcing you, nobody's asking you. And especially my message for older men, for mature men, I think it's especially embarrassing when you going for a younger woman, for a trophy wife, because you can make more money, but you cannot make yourself younger. When you having a chance with a younger woman, that alone should tell you that you are you are signing for taking care of her, and if she has children, for her child, because that usually is an agreement. If you're not sure, if you have doubts, if you're not sure that you want to take on that responsibility, maybe you should not take on that responsibility. Because in United States, I don't know about other countries, in United States, if you're not supporting a woman that you brought, you will be if she gets help, you will be in trouble. And I just think that how awful it is when you have to involve authorities in your life. Like, that's the most awful thing. When you have good faith, when you want to make your life better, when you think, or you found a traditional woman, why would you sabotage this? Why would you make her worry? Why would you make her taking some jobs when she should be home with a child? Why would you force a woman to go through such a hustle, through such a disaster? Why would you do all these things? So in the United States, if you even don't provide a car, I know some very stingy husbands that think that one car is enough, but I'm here to tell you one car is not enough, and you can do better than that. Um, it doesn't have to be an expensive car, but a woman should be able to get around. She should not be glued to the house. She should have, in United States, car is not a luxury. Where I'm coming from, the way I was growing up, yeah, car was kind of a luxury. But in United States, the having vehicle is not a luxury. So coming back to the story, this woman, I don't know if I will send you this video, or I don't know what we're gonna do, because she's in such an awful situation. But I got very emotional reading that letter, because it looks like this is one of the story of exception when it is a true abuse. Just because you, once again, um, just because you're helping a woman, a value of a woman does not define on her financial circumstance, or on her life circumstance. When Adam took Eve, he wasn't asking Eve for 50%. He wasn't asking her for whether she has an apartment. He wasn't asking her to support him. He knew he As a man, when you find a wife, you find a good thing. If you had agreed that she will be providing you comfort, she will be making you meals, she will be taking care of you, that is a beautiful thing. And you're a very lucky man to have that. I live in the United States, and I see that here very often. You can be married as a man, you can have a wife. It doesn't mean that you're going to have comfort. It doesn't mean that you're going to have meals. It doesn't mean that you will even spend time together. In America, for what I see, people are very separate, like very, very much into their own thing. It's just not the same. Of course, it depends on the family. Of course, it depends on the relationship. But finding a genuine person that is there for you, that is emotionally comforting, that brings joy into your life, she doesn't need to help you to pay your debts that you made before marriage. If you taking advantage of a woman, you making yourself very bad karma, emotionally, psychologically, and financially, and legally. I don't recommend anyone to go to any kind of court before you can work things out. So I hope that the lady who wrote the letter to me, I truly and deeply hope that she will be able to work this out. um I don't know, I don't know if this is just me. I really don't enjoy the getting people involved. It's so heartbreaking, especially when you have a small child, especially when you come in the hope was a beautiful life. But only if there is a true abuse and the person refuse to cooperate. I think, yeah, in this case, if you have to, if you have to protect yourself in this case, yeah, I guess you will have to ask for the help. Will have to ask for help. But um usually the situation is not so bad. Usually men are considerate. They understand that if you bring someone, oh my goodness, just stop. If you bring someone to United States or any other country, you have to understand that there is certain dynamic especially for older, for mature men. There is certain dynamic. It's different if you were dating, in your uh, late teens or early 20s, or even maybe early 30s. That is different because when you sign up for something like this and you're supposed to be established, a woman is waiting for that you will protect. What is the point to taking somebody out of the war zone and not being able to protect them, not being able to make them feel comfortable and secure, not being able to give them those basic needs? And I think it's especially embarrassing when a man was born 20 years before you, and he's still hoping that you will help him somehow in a sort of a financial way, especially for the generation that was still masculine. So if she's in her 30s or early 40s or late 20s, you're 15, 20, 25 years older, you watching my channel. Don't you dare don't you dare to do this. Don't you dare to emasculate yourself so much where you are hoping that the woman comes and comes here and she will put her life, uh she will turn from one slavery to another. It's not going to happen. And especially with Slavic women, we may be sweet, and we may be feminine and playful and very loving. If you know what I'm talking about, but don't you dare to do these things. You get no respect as a man for doing such things. Of course, in every story, you need to listen to both sides, and actually, these couples, they are going to talk to me separately because, you just never know what is going on. You have to listen to both sides. A lot of men have different expectations, and as women, we need to be very honest about our expectations for life. Um, some of us cannot live without our manicures. Some of us cannot live without certain maintenance. And I think it's very important to tell a man what you expect. Maybe you will realize, okay, we are not a match. We cannot be together because we don't have what it takes. We don't have enough in common. Women, I know actually a couple, I talked about this on the channel, where a woman decided to come back to almost a war zone because she couldn't see herself here, because she realized she can't even maintain her beauty here. In the depths of America, in a small towns, life is very different. Life is very, very simple and very how would they say this, very casual, which means people don't spend any time, don't take any pride in their appearance, and that is their choice. But usually it doesn't work for our women. Our women like to be put together and to be presentable, but you have to understand that that also comes at a cost. Let me look at the questions. Okay, I hope I get the sound down. Actually, I don't know if anybody is writing in the chat. I don't see any messages or any questions. So let me see if there is anything here. I'm sorry, guys. I'm still getting over my cold, and I don't know when that's gonna be over. So yeah, I just wanted to say, if my beautiful new subscriber will show this video to her husband, I really do hope that this situation will get resolved. But I just want to remind everyone that, we don't live in the times of slavery. We really don't. And it's too expensive of a mistake. It's too expensive of a thing to do if you're not serious. If you have some very malicious thoughts about a woman, if you think that because you live in United States, in a third world country, you can bring a woman who is like desperate for peace, for quiet home, and you can make her I'm not even saying going to work to pay your debt, but even just having her abandoning her child and go to work. There is no point of doing this. In Slavic culture, we don't leave our children to strangers, and I think one of the issues in America is that women often forced to leave their children and go, and children don't get the touch, the love, the connection. Children don't care about economy. They don't care about two incomes. They don't care about bigger TVs. Children care about comfort, about connection with their mother. They need their emotional development. They need love from their mother. If their mother has to drop her child, you already failed as a man. If you signed for that woman and the mother has to drop that child, you already failed as a man, and we are failing greatly here in America's society. We are failing greatly. The things that I see, living here for 16, 17 years now. I still cannot get adjusted to this. When I see children who are unkempt, who are extremely grossly overweight at the age of 6, 7, 8. They have weird hair. They are not washed. They are not clean. They have weird clothes. They cannot hold a conversation. The only thing that they can talk about is Fortnite and what else? Minecraft, and they cannot hold it. That's, what that tells me, that this child gets no attention, no personal time, no connection with their parent. That the parents, most likely he doesn't have even one caregiver that spend time, that read books, that develops the child. Children need development. Children need attention. Once again, just because we becoming such consumerists, we only care about getting bigger TV, bigger car, newer this, newer that. It doesn't change the nature of a child. It doesn't make the child to need less emotional connection, the support, the protection, the reassurance. And only a relaxed mother can give those things. Yes, I know that there are many women who are crawling out of their skin and doing things despite of all odds and making things happen. But if you're a man who is watching my channel and you are, have these fantasies about having a Slavic wife, having a traditional wife, or she doesn't have to be Slavic. She can be any nationality. And but especially if you thinking about that a Slavic wife will take this, you are very wrong. We are very sweet. Again, we are very loving, but don't cross when you cross the boundaries, especially when it comes to our children. So with this lady, it took me certain dedication to ask her to cool down, to cool off, and try to have a civil resolution, try to talk to her husband, because we need to understand both sides really well. And before you make these moves, before you involve the courts and all of this. But um a woman impact on your life, if you want a traditional woman, if you want a woman, I mean, of course we are not like we were in 1800s. But if you want a caring woman, a traditional woman, you don't want to subject her to all these things, to bring these tangible things to she doesn't need to gain points in your eyes, because if you chosen her, it already means that she has something in her, that feminine touch, that nurturing, her presence, just having her in your home, you feel different, you feel like you have uh somebody to come home to. And for those men who taking a woman with a child or two or whatever situation, you are actually, you are becoming a part of a family. You are becoming a part of a family. That's not a disadvantage, especially if you're older man and you want that. You want to hear kids' laughter. Maybe so happen that you don't have children, or your children are grown and they are gone, and you know how it is in America. Not always, not everywhere, but a lot of times kids are gone. They don't really consider to be close to their parents. Even when you get older, you might see them like on holidays, but this is really a horrible thing to my opinion. But it is a reality for many, not for all, but for many. And if you decide to take on, it's not for everyone, but if you decide to take on, you love your child, you like your child or two, it's a privilege for you. You get to witness, you get to join that, you get to experience that, you get to actually make a difference in this world, because raising a child is making a difference in this world. In 20, 30 years from now, we are going to be I mean, most of us is going to be a lot older, and we're not going to be, I mean, unless you are Joe Biden, whatever left of him, I mean, which was absolutely unproductive. Some people are outlive their body, they outlive their body, outlive their mind, so which makes it ridiculous. um, you can be sharp and you can still do a lot of things when you're older, but you don't want to count, um you want to count on younger people, younger generation that's coming, so if you feel the crisis, middle age crisis, raising a child, taking care of a family, one of the most beautiful and rewarding things you can do. But if you don't have the energy, if you don't have desire, if you have a woman that you want to take on for entertainment and thinks that you're a great savior, if you want her to resolve your problems, if you want her to make you look good in public because she's young and beautiful, but there is absolutely nothing that you can give to her, and in fact you want to take her use, her energy, you want to once again appear good, but you make her work, you force her to go to work. I mean, this situation once again with this letter I got is absolutely ridiculous, because there is no woman that should be, um there is no woman that should be a slave. There is no woman that should pay your dads or have no life and be chained to the house. This is, we're not living again in 1900s. But when you take on something, someone like this, you have a chance to build a beautiful life. You have to be honest with yourself whether or not you can actually do that. Not everyone has energy, not everyone has the means, but yeah, this letter really broke my heart. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this video on this channel, so please watch it if you um interested and you just want to know about this. But um this is the worst situation, when somebody is trying to look so good in public. Oh, I took this wife, from the war zone, but you cannot provide, you cannot protect, and I cannot imagine, if I was a man, let's say hypothetically, and I would be throwing a woman outside to work and bring me money, count on that money, you just know that you are scum of the earth. It's the same if a woman would throw her child to go and try to find some work, to throw her young child, I don't know, adolescents, and to the street and say, hey, go and bring me money. This is just absolutely, absolutely outrageous situation. But even those men who think that, you are somehow, you're higher, you are this king and you brought yourself a servant, just know that this situation will backfire, because every person have dignity. And when you take advantage of someone, you're going to pay for it. You just, you take a woman, most men, when they approach a woman, they already know why they want her. You already know. She doesn't need to, no amount of things. No, I'm sorry, I'm getting messages. Thank you for joining. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Aaron, welcome, welcome. You're welcome to contribute some thoughts if you have anything to contribute. But yeah, I think that the good thing that this is a rare situation. I literally, I mean, in terms of my um, through the years, this maybe, I don't know if it's through all the years I've been doing this, and maybe gotten maybe just maybe a dozen bad situation like this. So it's not very common. I would say it's not common at all. But I think because of the war, some people feel like they can order themselves like a servant from third world country. They consider Ukraine maybe economically third world country, and especially with the war. But Aaron, you have been to Ukraine. You know how our people are. You know that our people are not stupid. Most of our people are extremely educated, extremely educated. When I look at what my son is studying in school, uh, I, I, I mean, some of it is good, but multiple choice answers, really, that's how you study. When we were studying, we needed to use our mind to analyze things and compare data, and being able to write the bottom lines. Of course they do that too, but we actually knew how to write. We knew how to write cursive in different language, but most of all, it was the worldview, the history, the geography, the literature, the into-depth studying. I feel that the political side of things force uh, children to miss out on a lot of great literature, a lot of amazing art. So many things that get left out for BS right now. And I'm sorry, but overall, maybe it's different in some elite schools, but in a regular public school, the education has a big room for improvement. And I don't know what it is when it comes to history. I don't think they even have geography in school. When it comes to geography, it's a whole different conversation. And history, there is a very the education is very, very much suffering. The wrong things getting highlighted here. So if you think that, as I said, Ukraine is, especially now with the war, a third world country for sure, with the corruption that eats the country within, and with um, economy that has been destroyed. But people, you will not, if you meet Slavic people, Ukrainian people, people from post-USSR here in US, you will see people who are usually extremely successful. They have a lot of drive. They are very intellectual, very intelligent. They are very scrappy. They have a lot of knowledge on a lot of things, and they have very high standards. They can be broke. What American would say, you're broke. You can have a woman, let's say, maybe she ran away with her child, right, to another country. She might have the bare minimum support, but she would be making real food for her child. She wouldn't be poisoning her child with all this fast food. She would not be dressing her child in trashy clothes. She would find good clothes. somewhere. She would always take care of her child. She would do her best. She would crawl out of her skin. She would, not put her child in a piece of plastic. When I see those plastic shoes everywhere, I'm like, how do you put your child in the plastic shoes? Everybody I know, pretty much everybody I know in the community who is doing well or who is doing not so well, everyone is trying to do better than it is. So if you think that well, first of all, it's not a very dignified thing to do, to say that you can enslave any nationality or any person in the world, but you are going to get hurt. You are going to get hurt because don't mix warmth and femininity and softness and love and all these beautiful things with a woman's ability to stand for herself, and she needs to stand for herself. And do not hurt a woman based on her circumstance. Don't take advantage of a woman, because the blessing that the woman can bring in your life can hardly be measured, especially if she trusted you, especially if she came to with a belief and genuine desire to make your life more beautiful, to make your life more fulfilled. If you decided to take on this opportunity, uh, do not think that she is not protected. I had another case, and again, I don't have that many cases with women, but I have another case, somebody that I also knew personally, where the husband of this woman, he completely catfished her. Yeah, that happens too. He completely catfished her. Like, for example, he didn't have any teeth. He put this dentures, I guess. So he completely catfished her. She arrived in winter. They were living in this trailer. No, what is this thing? Trailer, right? It's a little thing that like home on the wheels, I guess, without heating. And she was here in Michigan. So this man make her take money, like sell her things, take money from the bank, bring it. She was from somewhere in Eastern Europe. He fooled her that they're gonna, get the property together, that they're gonna build on this land. Basically, he just completely made everything up and make her go, ruined her credit completely. When she came, she was freezing here. She actually never told me. She was watching my channel for a while, and I thought that she's having a beautiful time. I didn't want to disturb them because I thought, oh, they are, honeymoon, those first times when you are together with a person you love. It's like, I didn't want to interfere, but she was embarrassed to tell me that she was grossly abused, and he saw her son was abused. And somebody told her that, oh, that's okay that your son was abused, because men usually don't accept another man's child. I was like, nobody forced that man to invite a woman and a child to come and visit, and not, I'm sorry, not just come and visit, but come and stay. Nobody forced you to bring this woman here with a child. You knew she has a child. Also, this man did not allow a child to go to school. So the child, I don't know, he missed a year or two of school, I don't remember. He wasn't able to provide. They were freezing in that house. He was abusive. That's what finally put a stop to it, because he was abusing the child. I could not. I'm very a strong-willed person. I don't know if if I have true empathy for a woman that allows her child to get abused. I don't know. I think I do have empathy, but I have such, my blood is boiling, and I don't understand, especially in a country where you have child protective services and you have shelters for women. I understand if you have absolutely nowhere to go, but I think, if your house burned, you would find a place to go. So I think, as for ladies who are in abusive relationships, maybe you happen to listen to this video, don't stay another day. And especially if you have a child, believe me, you have people that would let you, that would help you. Especially if you live in America or any other Western country, there are shelters, there are people that would help. The whole world will help if you allows us. But no woman should watch her oh my god, I can't even imagine what would happen. I kind of know what would happen. I can't, but I don't want to think about it. If I would see something like this, if I would see somebody abusing my child in any way, um oh my gosh, I'm actually, I'm in a town. We have one homeless person in my town, and it happened to be where I can see it right now, and somebody just gave them food. I don't know if it's right or wrong, because this guy need to get his crap together. But food, I mean, food is okay. People need to eat, but they also need to get out of the public place and go get themselves into shelter. That's my opinion on this. But anyway, I could never, I don't know, I don't ever want to imagine this. When my son was growing up, I've never allowed anyone to watch my child except for family, for the family, for actual family. I just don't trust anybody when it comes to children. You know why? Because children can't talk, they cannot always express. Sometimes they're scared because the person who abusing their child is very often, the person who is abusing your child very often can manipulate, scare them, so they would afraid to say something. I think, I don't know if in this case it was a thing. I'm not sure, but I think there is nothing worse than I don't think that a woman in her mind would ever watch her child getting abused. That is just too much, That is just too much. I think that this is never an option. Not to say that a woman herself should be getting abused, but when you decide to have a child, you sign in an agreement. You sign an agreement with God, you sign in an agreement with yourself, with society, with the law. I don't know. You just can't allow that to happen. You just can't allow. But I never support women who are staying in abusive relationships. That's another video. Hopefully one day I will do the women's channel. I can talk about that into depths. But um, do not. I do not believe any excuses when the women say, when women get abused, when women get into really terrible relationships. I don't believe any of the excuses. mm, I think that it's a choice, because abuse is more comfortable than unknown thing, than going to the shelter, than calling for help. I think that I'm not um I think that a lot of times people have opportunities, they don't use it because they find some kind of comfort in this, and this is devastating. But when you are an adult, that's your choice. You want to be emotionally, physically, or financially abused, or well, that is your choice. But don't complain. That's one of the things that when you find yourself in this situation, you don't want to change anything, you don't complain. You either change it or you stop complaining. You either change it, you find help, but don't just have everything like it is and complain. That's weird, you know. Unfortunately, I even have um, people like that because of my channel who reaching out. I don't know if because of the war these things went worse, but um it's a woman's responsibility, as a grown woman. You have to take responsibility for your life. It's for another video. But anyway, my dear friends, I know that men who watching my channel are watching it, or were watching it in the past when I talked more about Slavic culture and all of this. I know you were watching it with good intentions. 99.9% of you watched it so you understand the uh mentality of Slavic women, their strengths, maybe some downfalls. Well, honestly, com- to what's going on in Western culture, we don't have downfalls. We have specialities, specifics. And of course, you need to find a woman that have good morals, that actually want a family. Because a lot of my clients were men, were victims, where when they would find women that directly let them know that they don't want to have a family. So if a woman worried too much about plastic surgery, if she cannot stand children, if all she wants is lavishness, but I mean, if she just doesn't have a soul, well, it can happen with any nationality, any culture. That is your choice. If you Jeff Bezos 2.0, and you want to have a soulless woman, where you have opportunity to find any woman you want, but somehow you are matching with a soulless woman, that is also your responsibility. But most of Slavic women are at least very open in their horizons to meet men abroad, to just so they can um, um, expand their options to get married, because of divorce, because of uh, in many Slavic countries there is more women than men. And sorry guys, I got interrupted. In Slavic women there is I'm sorry, in Slavic countries there is usually more, in Eastern European countries there is usually more women than men. And because as you can see, again, I never thought I would see this in my lifetime, but we can see wars right now, and many Slavic women want to have man, I hope this guy is not taking this homeless guy to his house. Oh my goodness. I can just be somewhere random, and some event would be unfolding. I don't know. I just have this gift of showing up where there is nothing, there's something going on. I mean, I appreciate the act of kindness. I appreciate this man feeding the homeless man. This is one homeless man that I've seen in this town. One. First time. This is so weird. I appreciate the act of kindness. It's a beautiful thing. It's really a beautiful thing. But you have to be also careful not to create more of this. It's a fine line, very fine line. So anyway, once again, talking about the Slavic culture, it's just usually it's still culture of logic. Women just want to be women, just want to be able to enjoy the motherhood, want to be able to enjoy being a wife. When you send your wife to pay off your debts or whatever else problem you have, you think she's going to come home and be a loving, most beautiful woman you've ever seen? Probably not. um I believe, personally, I think it's a beautiful thing when a woman have a way of expressing herself, when she can use her creativity, her love, her magnetism, her knowledge, her wisdom, her skills, to be able to provide for herself and her child. It's important to have. It's like a survival slash um creative skills that we all need in this world, in this day and age. I'm absolutely somebody wrote a comment recently on my channel, a young woman, and she wrote that I give dangerous advice in terms of the men, the woman cannot rely on men, when that a woman should be self-sufficient. I've never ever said in my videos that, oh, don't have any way to support yourself, don't have skills, don't educate yourself. I've never said that once. For one, me personally, if you know anything about my story, or if you know anything about really how life works, I absolutely believe that a woman should have skills, and she should always enrich and learn new things. And especially if she has a supportive man, this is advice for all women who are watching me. If you have a man in your life, it's your husband, it's your fiance, maybe a significant other that is going to be your life partner, and this man is providing and supporting for you, I think it's absolutely crucial to use that safety, that beautiful atmosphere, not when somebody is pushing you to go to work, abandon your child, but when you have this love and safety and atmosphere, when you can relax, you don't have a burden to carry, you have a man who is supporting you financially. I think it's uh, so important to relax and make your business, make your however, whatever it is that you would love to do it for pleasure, do it for fun, do it for development, do it for a challenge where you know that you're covered. You don't have to worry because life is unpredictable. Sometimes men live by death, disease, I don't know, dishonor. It happens, life is unpredictable. No, but no person in the world can tell you your exact scenarios that you're going to have. But it is so important for a woman to use that moment when she has safety, security, when she has support of a man, to use that not just for bags, not for clothes. You guys know I love clothes, I love all the beautiful things, but I also acquired some skills that no matter what is happening in life, I always know that things are going to be okay. I will never have to live with a man that I don't love. I can say that I don't think I've not that I don't think, I know I've never had to be with a man that I don't desire, don't love, don't respect ever in my life. I think it's a beautiful thing when a woman knows her own, she can keep her dignity, and she knows that she can always take care of herself. But in order to come to that point, a woman should not be shy to ask, not again, not for labels and things like that, unless that's your business, unless she's going to flip them, unless it's an investment piece. But still, you know, this is message for men too. Don't be shy to invest in a woman. If she, maybe she's a beautiful artist, she can draw beautiful art, or she can make beautiful clothes, or she's a teacher, or she speaks 5 languages. I have been getting offers to work in the language area. I may or may not take it, but at least I have these options, because there was a time a long time ago when I invested in my education. So right now, I can literally be in the comfort of my home and not worry about survival, knowing that if something gets cut off, if something happens, something changes, I can still be fine with men or without a man. I'm gonna be just fine. And I know a lot of ladies right now are taking with the level up advice and gold digger advice. I'm not against any of this, because there is a buyer for every product. But as a woman, you should always invest in yourself, not only in the signature pieces, not only in the jewelry. Guys, I love real jewelry. I actually love fine jewelry. I love antique fine jewelry also because it's an investment piece. Some of the things I have, um, like most men don't understand that some of these things and pieces you give to your woman, don't get her trendy stuff, trendy cheap China things. Get her something that your grandma had, some beautiful statement pieces from the past, because if hard times were to come, that's an investment piece. It gains value every single year. It gains value. I made a little endeavor, a little business out of my love for art and antique and glamorous things. That's a whole different video. But a lot of men can be sometimes talking about the budget, or you can do this. Don't be shy to invest in a woman if she wants to do something. We live here in the United States. We have absolutely awful beauty services. For me, I have to do most of my beauty procedures by myself. But if I could, I would love to go and give myself to the hands of a professional and just relax. But last time I gave myself last couple of times I gave myself in the arms of a professional. Certain people could not recognize me. It was so horrible. So I have to do things myself. But let's say your lady, I mean, not all, but let's say your lady has a talent, she knows how to do skincare or makeup or hair, or maybe, I don't know, maybe she wants to work in banking. Not every woman wants to have like feminine kind of occupation. Some women, it's a more on a minority, but some ladies want to actually get out of the house. They cannot be in the house. They need to get dressed. Maybe they want to go and work in a bank or in some kind of department store. We are all different. But don't, if she asks you, hey, she wants to take a course, she wants to learn something, there are millions of skills that you can have. Maybe she has master's degree in psychology or psychiatry. Maybe she wants to be a counselor. Maybe there's so many things. And in this day and age, if you're good at something, you don't even necessarily need to show your diploma. I have certificates, I have diplomas. I know where some of them are. I don't know where the others are. Some left in Ukraine. Not once I was asked to show my certificate or my credentials, because when people were reaching out to me, they know that I'm probably one of the few people that can help them. And they were ready to compensate me for whatever it takes, because there is a crisis and they valued my opinion. So if your woman is talented at something, even if she feels, a Slavic woman always feels like she needs to have it more perfect and she needs to know it a little bit better. We have this perfectionism because in our country we are harshly criticized if we are not exactly perfect. But if you can afford that course, I don't know, maybe it's photography, maybe it's cosmetology, I don't know what it is, but it's important to not try to control another person. If that's something that fulfills them, there is a big difference when you force somebody to work, and God forbid you force them and you take their money to pay you that, versus when they want to develop because that would make them feel more comfortable in another country. For me personally, I think that the woman should always be abundant. She should never be forced to be with someone, and she should be able to take, even if she meets the most wonderful, the most loving, generous and kind man, she should be able to survive if something happens. And let's be real, a lot of Slavic women marrying older men. And when you have 15 10, 15, 20, 25, sometimes age gap, in a natural order of things, chances are you're going to be gone much earlier than her. So you want to leave her something, but not just things, because maybe she wants to learn financial literacy. You want to leave her with something, you want to leave her with some skills, you want her to preserve whatever you will pass to her so she can take care of it, take care of your children and grandchildren. Hopefully everyone lives long and forever and have many children, or have beautiful continuation of the family. Some people adopt children. I think that is a most beautiful thing in this world, when you have a lot, or you have more than enough and you want to adopt children. Let's say maybe she's past her her childbearing years, or you just don't want her to go through that again, or maybe she cannot have children, maybe yours are grown. Everybody has their own situation, but this is one of the most beautiful things in the world. If you decide that you want to adopt children together, and you want to contribute to the society, That's a beautiful way to do so. So you want to make sure that she learns things. You don't, some of the husbands here in the United States are extremely controlling. You don't tell her anything about finance. She is not financially literate. We all make these mistakes when we come here. We don't understand priorities in Eastern Europe and here are so different. In Eastern Europe, we prioritize quite a bit different things than we prioritize here. Also here you can plan, you can invest, you can get new skills. um, um, a lot of women come, they are not financially literate, not because they are ignorant, but because in Eastern Europe, for example, me growing up in post-Soviet Ukraine, there was no such a thing as savings. All the savings turned to paper. All savings literally turned to absolute paper. Um, I remember my father was collecting, saving for us, wearing the same shoes for 15 years. My dad was like that. Uh, for our school, and the government stole that money. It's called obligatie. I don't know, obligations. I don't know in English what it is, but we are not financially literate or very often because investment, all those investments in 90s, my dad lost all of the money that he was. My dad was a quite a hustler, I have to say, and it was funny to remember because some of the hustling ideas I gave him. I was still a child, but I gave him some business ideas back in time. It's crazy. I remember he told me that many years later, he said, I realized some of the ideas just came out of your mouth. It was really, really sweet memory. But he was working extremely hard. He had the drive. I've never seen my dad sitting, ruminating. He was either doing something educational, studying, learning, creating, or he was hustling, in the 90s. And unfortunately, not all, but majority of his money, I would say probably 70%, maybe 80% of the money he made were just burned by the investments. They had these investment companies in like mid 90s. Yeah, mid 90s to late 90s, and all of them, they called trust, and all of them had been a fraud. It came from the West, but people who ran them, they were dishonest, and it was all a fraud, an absolute fraud. So he lost all of that, and I remember his tears, how he was telling me that he wanted me to do better in life. He wanted to leave something for his family. But basically, I remember the devastation in his eyes. I actually was often, he was driving this Zhiguli. It's like the worst car of all. It's a horrible car, but I wanted to be with my dad. So we often hustled together, and I would like squeeze in that car because he would have like different things that he was selling. But I was so little that I could squeeze in the car, and we were driving together. I felt like I was part of the hustle. And I remember his devastation when he realized he lost so much money. And but what's interesting? He built it over and over and over again. And he was an older man. I'm a late child, so to speak. Today's a story time, I guess. Yeah, he built it over and over again. And that's another thing, that for men and women, we're living in these times, nothing is guaranteed. But once you learn, once you trust yourself that you can figure it out, you can. You Once you trust yourself that you don't have this employee mindset that only a man in a suit could cut you a check. You can develop skills and be a provider in any situation. For the men who feels that they want to have a wife but they don't make enough, get yourself a hustle, get yourself a second job, get yourself a new skill. But don't think that you can send a pregnant woman or a woman with a child, with a small child, I'm sorry, don't send that woman to work because you giving up your man card in that time and you never getting it back. When you send in a pregnant woman, a woman with an infant, a woman with a toddler, or a woman that wants to be with a child, you sending her to work, you giving up on your own manhood. Um, if you say that your family needs to income, she will pack your lunch, get a second job. Of course, for the ladies, when our children are bigger or when we are capable of doing things, I think it's important for most of us, maybe not all, but I would say for most of us, it's important to be able to use our skills because unfortunately sometimes a man is 100% provider, but he was not meant to live very long, or something else happened, or there is war, god forbid. I believe that women are very abundant, and if you're lucky to have a husband even for a short time, however god wanted this, however it was meant to be, I believe this. And once again, who just joined, I'm sharing this as a woman, always use the time of comfort, provision, love from a husband or man in your life, use it to create something. Because when we are relaxed, when we create as women from our magnetic side, from the overflow, we are not burning ourselves. We are actually getting even more energized, even more happier when we can play and get paid. Play means, maybe you create designs, maybe you teach children, maybe you have an amazing outlet where you share beautiful things. I do think it's very important, especially if you have children, because even if you have a provider man, when you have children, you sign in a responsibility to take care of the children. And life is unpredictable, of course. Uh, things should be in place. Things should be in place for a child. If you're marrying into a decent family, things should be in place for a child, whether you, no matter of the future, no matter what the future holds, your child should be protected. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm still getting over this cold, and my eyes are hurting. So especially one. So we're going to be wrapping up. Thank you so much for joining. I really want to be able to share with you guys the letters, the experiences I have, and I love coming with the good news. I'm sorry that sometimes it is terrible stories, but we learn from those stories nevertheless. Oh, somebody's calling me, of course. Let's see if I have. Wait, excuse me. Wait, no, 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 no. Okay, sorry. Aaron, Nico Vest is saying great, good advice. Thank you, Nico. Aaron is saying Slavic women are the most intelligent and skillful ladies in the world. Excellent university degrees, experiences in life, excellent cooks and homekeepers. Well, I would say many are. Of course, there is a bad sheep everywhere, but we were raised, it wasn't like an optional thing. It wasn't like a thing where you can choose. You absolutely have to be. A lot of people had told me. I had this memory recently. Some of my own memories. Some of the sacrifice you do for your children. Some of the investment, some of the dedication. Like, it's it's something I think that our ancestors were very strong, and they were very you just have high expectations. You don't just give iPads to your children. You don't just hope that somehow they turn out okay. If you know anyone Slavic, unless it's a woman that is a vulgar woman that sells her body on the internet, because that's also happens. Some people don't have morals, regardless of their upbringing, regardless of their background. But most of my friends, most women I know, maybe not close friends, was they own their children day and night. We have a really strong grip. We know our responsibilities, and yes, we stand for education. We stand for development for children, for exploration, for showing, taking your child. You don't have to be rich to take your child different countries. Make sure he has, like, you don't really have to be rich, like, this is how I see it. If you just quit smoking and drinking and wasting your money. I'm just saying what I see women here smoking and drinking all the time, going to bars, buying some overpriced stuff. I don't know, for us Slavic women it's more important to give them good education and save and invest, being able to show them the world when they are growing up, whatever we can do. I understand for most people it feels so ambitious, but it's not. You can save a little bit of money. You can, if you really want something. I knew when my son was about 6, we took our first trip, but like 6 to 7, I knew that I want him to see the world. And even some family members was telling me, oh, you don't want to take him to Ukraine now, he's so little, it's so expensive. And look at this now my native country is war torn. It's it's so devastating, and it's going to be another world, another reality. And my son got to um experience the beauty and magic of my native country. Aaron, you were lucky, you know, to see some of the beautiful things, experience firsthand some beautiful things. A lot of my followers who visited, it's a different experience. I believe that we should not put important things like one day, one day this, one day that. No. Children grow up. They don't need what they want at 7. They don't want that at 15. And I don't know. I feel like in America there is a big culture of es- escapism. When you escape, like, you don't want to think about it, so you're gonna watch Netflix and you're gonna watch TV, you're gonna watch news all day because the world is in such a horrible place. So, like, not most, but many people I know, they escape. They just watch either movies all day or all weekend, or they watch like a bunch of news and scare you about everything. But I am really so glad that my son was able to see beautiful land in a beautiful culture and experience peace. I don't know when we're going to visit next, but we visit multiple times, and I'm so glad of it. It's so important. And experiences with your child, of course it can, I mean, even taking your child in the forest, walking, reading, journaling, writing is so important. A woman who is focused on her career and pleasing her boss is less likely to give her child that detailed attention. She is more likely to try to survive. She has to do this, that, and the other, and give him an iPad and say, please watch this, leave me alone. And not because she's a bad mother, it's because she already burned her energy at work. She already gave it to her boss, to another man, not you, another man. Thank you for the comments. Welcome. I'm gonna read a couple of comments. Thank you guys for joining. It's so good to see you. I'm sorry if I still sound sick, but doing my best today. Yeah, we're going to wrap it up soon. Hello, Tree Root. Hello. I believe I read giving your child positive, diverse experiences when you're young is one of the greatest contributions to a high IQ later in life. Yes, 100%. 100%. Yes. When you give your child, you spend their. It's not a bad thing to live in a small town. I live right now in a very tiny town, but it's very safe. But you don't want your child to think that um that's all there is to the world. And sometimes you can't travel to another country, but you can take your child and go to try different foods, try to go different festivals. If you're in US, you can drive to another state. There are different museums, there are different people, and there are some states, excuse me, there are some states that have diversity of people visiting. It's so incredibly great. It's so incredibly wonderful for the development when you can mix your children with different cultures, with different ethnicities, with kids who have different interests. But yes, if you believe in yourself, like all of this stuff is so possible. I don't know why people make such a big deal out of it. When we are focusing on something, it always works. Most people that say this expensive and that is expensive are just don't want to do anything. I've never told my son that something was expensive. Not because I wanted to spoil him, not because I want him to think that he just say things and he will get it, but I want him to believe that when he will grow up, he will trust himself that if he wants to achieve something, he can. You can tell your child, we have different priorities right now, or we are going to have to put some work in order to get something, but you never have to tell your child, oh, this is expensive, forget about it. Same as the husband, when a man, your woman wants something, it's something that is inspiring for her, and you don't even try to understand that's expensive. No, we can't do this. Like, you don't even try to offer anything or to say, to consider, you just cut it off. That's expensive. Like, nobody told you that your wife is cheap, or nobody told you that your child should have no desires. So, growing up in Soviet Union, or I mean, part in Soviet Union, and really like being born in Soviet Union and growing up in post-Soviet Union, I saw struggle, I saw lack, and that's why I think it's important to let your child believe that they can achieve just about anything. And even if you don't have the money, even if you have an empty wallet, don't ever tell your child that's expensive, you're not gonna ever have this. I've heard one of my relatives telling this um to her nephew. uh, she would say something like, that's expensive, forget about it. Like, I think that everything is possible when you really want it, when you can put your mind to it. You can explain your child, what needs to be done in order to achieve it. You don't have to just bring everything your child desires, but you can take them through the process, you can talk to them, but don't just cut off their wings telling them that they are not worthy of anything. um Nico is saying, I do not understand why women think that they have to meet the standards of the beta EU men. They do not want the responsibility of taking care of women. Yeah, well, EU men are very, I think they've, like, some of the Western European men are very um like, they believe in equality, they're very kind of woke, and they believe that, yeah, it's a BS. Most women don't actually want that. They are in shock. They are just, women do not agree for 50-50 because it's so degrading. It's such a degrading experience. You can meet a woman that financially is doing fine, but when she's with you and you're hoping that she will be taking care of you, you just kill all her desire because it tells her that you cannot protect, you cannot provide, you cannot warm her, she just understand that you're not interested in her. You don't want to, you don't want her. That's, if a woman if is real, she understands that you just don't want her. If you don't, if you don't take pride and joy in providing, the only thing she, if she's smart, she understands, okay, this man does not want me. The woman don't always want receive something from you because she's trying to gain it. You know, we're talking about more mature dating. A lot of women in their like 30s and 40s, they already have all their basic things, you know. They just want to have a man that they can look up to, that they can respect, that they can, you know, that can make their life more safe, more beautiful. Just think about your daughter. You know, if you think that, oh, a woman is using me, she wants my money. Think about your daughter. Would you ever want your daughter to come to you and say, Dad, I'm this man with this man, he's so great, he's so wonderful, but yeah, I pay for myself everywhere. I pay for him. He lives in my house. I take care of him, but he's such a good man. You would not take that bullshit? I'm sorry, for a second. You would be in that apartment checking out that dude in a best case scenario. You know, sometimes when you think, oh, this woman is too spoiled, this woman is too, wouldn't you want your daughter to be spoiled? Wouldn't you, spoiled in a good way? Wouldn't you want your daughter to be cherished? Wouldn't you want your daughter to feel loved by a man because you cherish her, you loved her? You want uh, quietly one day go to forever sleep knowing that your daughter's husband got her, that he is just like you? It's very simple logic. I disagree with you, Nico. Uh, Children, even if they don't remember something, it develops their mind. I disagree with that completely. Yeah, if it develops their mind. You may not, we remember everything. You know how people remember abuse, children remember abuse, even if they are traumatized, even if they don't remember their trauma, they still traumatized. Also, traveling, experiencing things, I'm not saying this, it's your child will not survive. It's obviously a great thing if possible to achieve, but it develops their mind, develops their brain, it develops them. Of course, the again, this is what some of the people in my family were telling me, well, you don't want to spend all this money, you don't need to travel, you can go later. There is no later. First of all, things change. You know, your child does not want to go to Disney World when he's 30, you know. Um, in my case, you know, my son would have never experienced peaceful Ukraine, you know, beautiful places, beautiful culture, beautiful people, beautiful architecture, beautiful food, and of course meeting my family there. He would never experience, if I'd be, yeah, later, you know, I need to get my what it is, my Chanel bag, so later. I got so much criticism from people that don't even matter, you know, but I was a lot more sensitive. I was a lot more naive and a lot more sensitive to people's opinions, and they used to play in my head because they, you know, you can make, you can like do house renovations, like people just don't want to do anything. But I'm glad that I just listened to my instincts and didn't care about people's ideas about how I live to need, how I need to live my life. And I'm just saying this again. You can absolutely give your child love. You can do camping, puzzles. Yeah, you can do all of this stuff for sure. Everybody looks at their budget, at their schedule, it's all life. You absolutely, that's number one, is connection development. But just because your child may or may not remember everything, it's I disagree with that. You experience things, you remember them subconsciously, they still develop you. You also have can have movies and photos just to kind of capture that. But many things are fun if you have all I'm saying, if you have an opportunity, you cannot hurt your child with showing them the world. My son was in Crimea when he was 9 months old. You know, Crimea right now is overtaken, and I don't think we will ever. Of course, he doesn't remember being 9 months old, but I remember. I remember being in beautiful city of Yalta. It's such a gorgeous city, Yalta. And I remember having him in a stroller and strolling the streets, and he was so cute, 9 months old, sitting in a stroller, big smile, smiling at everybody. And yeah, it's a precious memory. Now I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, what was I thinking? You know, Crimea is very far away, even from Ukraine. You need to fly. I don't know. I was visiting a friend who back then lived in Yalta, and right now I'm no. I mean, of course, I couldn't fly now. But my son knows. He says I've been to Crimea. Yes, he doesn't remember, but my camera does, and I remember him. I remember him. That was such a sweet and cute adventure. But everybody has their own lifestyle preferences, so there is no right or wrong. Is as long as you prioritize your child development and you don't force your woman prioritize going and work for another man. That's all I'm saying. Hello, Neiro. Hello to King Nero here in the chat, our moderator. Would you be so kind to please drop some of my information as I'm going to be wrapping up? Speaker of the house. Oh, I hope one day I'll come and I'm fully recovered. So yeah, you know why they're bored? Because they're not used to culture. I mean, I'm speculating. I don't know your family. But usually children by the age of 12 and 13, they are already so into their devices, video games, that exploration is no longer that interesting. But I don't know, of course, your situation, but I had a moment when my son, I think I had also major beef with some of my family members here in US because he was getting into video games, and I made it my life mission that we are not going to have video game system. We're not going to be spending our childhood uh, just buried in those stupid video games. I cannot tell you how they're just stealing their minds. They're hijacking their minds with those stupid games. I remember one time that I had to get into war to stop it. I had to literally ruin my relationships just about with everybody, but um, I'm just I don't see a compromise. A child should be running outside. He should be excited. He should have a dirty face. He should have his clothes torn. He should have be catching frogs. He should be doing all these things. Yes, of course, nowadays they have their moments when they want to play a game. My son also play games, but he's not a gamer. He can he does it very, very little. Well, he's grown now, but when he was growing up, I was so outraged that this is just a thing that you give to your child. You give them video games. That's it. I just find this devastating. um yeah, I find it devastating, and I think it's just hijacked their childhood from them. So thank you, guys. If you're new on my channel, you can write me to my email. You can also support my channel if you enjoy my videos, while I'm on the bad side of YouTube still, but hopefully I'll get on the good side. And yes, just say hello, introduce yourself. I would love to know more about you. You can do that via email. You can also add me on Instagram. I have also another page on Instagram. I have a glamour page if ladies like glamour. I love retro vintage fashion, and I have my page. I sell some of the beautiful things there. Oh my goodness, this homeless guy is quite something. How sad, how incredibly sad. My my glamour page is femininity and furs. I don't know what to say about that. It's awful to see this. I see. Well, maybe your ladies, maybe your girls just never develop an interest so much for the history. You know, that's thing about you say that your daughters like doing outside stuff, horses, four-wheeling. Yeah, I think that some of the people here who live in the countries, they don't really have that much interest to see, uh, but to see Europe or to see other countries. That is okay too. That is okay too. What can you do? What can you do? I think we can get make them interested in other countries and culture, with education, with showing them things. But I think kids are also entitled to have their own interests, and this is awesome that your girls don't have a smartphone. That's just phenomenal. So sorry, I assume that maybe I just assume that because children who are eaten by their smartphone, not watching something productive, but children who are engrossed in the video games. They don't care about traveling, or exploring things. But maybe they just love nature and like I know in America it's a popular thing to be out. Yeah, you said hi everybody, welcome. He said being raised by a single father. Well, you know what? If you had to raise them by yourself, you did an amazing job. Maybe they don't have enough of like feminine things, but hopefully they can learn feminine things. If they wanted to. From maybe picking up some hobbies, but you know s- there are many interests. If they really love this, I think horse riding is beautiful and amazing. I admire that. It's beautiful. I think when children have at least one parent that's taking care of them, you're not trying to be perfect, you're not trying to give them all, you cannot give them more than you have, but when you care and you show and you give everything you possibly can, it's a beautiful thing. So I'm very glad for you. Also, I was a tomboy before I was about 14. Yeah, I like playing in the mud, chasing with, not chasing boys, but chasing with boys, playing soccer, getting soccer in my soccer ball flying in my face, like we did a lot of things. I was very driven. I like playing with the boys. But then all of a sudden, 14, 15 years old, that all that all was history. I was done with it and I wanted to do feminine things. I was interested in that. I was interested in ultra feminine things all of a sudden. I guess it's the hormones kicked in really hard. And I was not interested. Play with no mud, play with no boys, no bugs, nothing, and no soccer. But we all grew up playing soccer just with friends. Man, I never forget the feeling of a flying soccer ball in your face. That's the most devastating feeling one can get. Thank you. Oi, what did I do? I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why it became white all of a sudden. I'm sorry, I pushed something. Veronica, what is your lipstick brand and shade? What is your makeup and skincare brand? Oh my gosh, I don't even know. Um, right now, you mean? I happen to actually have actually this one that I have right now. This is so funny. Sorry guys, man, for watching my this kind of like a lip gloss, and it called doll face. I think it's discontinued actually. Doll face. And what is a shade? It's kind of like a coral color. I cannot see. Thank you for the compliment, by the way. I'm sorry, I cannot see. It's a little bit it says zero filter. It says zero filter, but it's it's a lip gloss, and it's kind of like a coral color for the ladies. Yes, one day I will open a woman's channel. I can't wait to open a woman's channel, but haven't happened yet. Maybe this summer. We'll see. Skincare. What do I have on my skin? I have actually, because I was sick, I was not feeling well. I actually have castor oil on my skin right now. Just castor oil, from Marshalls, because it's something that doesn't cause irritation, and I wanted to like hydrate my skin. And I have a few touches of concealer. I feel like I'm just beauty blogger. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. I have a touch of All May concealer to conceal the red spots. All May, I think it's like American something. Don't know. Anyway, yes. But only like spots. Thank you so much. Thank you for the kind words. um, I will take them to Japan. I lived for 2 years there. Japanese culture is so different. Yeah, I think they might love that. It's so different. Yes, beautiful. Hello Dan, welcome. Welcome. Um, I actually, Lean, thank you for your questions. Thank you for the kind comments. I usually mix lipsticks. So I usually mix my gloss. I usually make like amazing colors with mixing different lipsticks. I'm like an alchemist, a little bit, a little bit. Thank you. Yes, this doll face makeup, I think is getting discontinued in US. I think it's Italian makeup, and I think it's getting discontinued right now. My sister and niece take care of the feminine. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Yeah, because girls need some kind of feminine influence as well. Very much so, especially now when they're growing up. Thank you. Thank you for the kind comments, everybody. Let me see if I missed anything. Yeah, I think some of the best skincare is I do I have pretty good skin. I do, a lot of people ask me, they think that I do something expensive. I use sunscreen a lot because I'm very fair, and for all the ladies, I would not ever do mm, uh, expensive, like I would never do the tanning stuff, the especially fake tanning. Real tanning is sometimes when you're out and about, you just enjoying the sun, it's okay, but you have to protect your skin. But now they say that some of those skincare, some of the sun protection creams are also bad for you. So I don't know. But best thing is sleep, no stress, love, and good cream. But I will share my secrets. I have a few. I guess I have a few things that are kind of, I find very working well, especially for those of you ladies who knows that a lot of people don't know that um I'm at the point in life where if you didn't take care of yourself before, it will show pretty bad. So I think it's important to take care of your skin early. And the most beautiful sleep is thing is sleep, fresh air, and moisturizing and sun protection. I don't believe in Botox. I've never done it. Although people half my age have done it. Maybe not half, but you know what I'm saying. I am very much against that. Very much against it because I think that it's awful. I think it was meant to destroy women. So, thank you so much, my beautiful friends. Any last minute comments, questions? I went way over time, but I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Hopefully, we all feeling better. Let me see if I have anything else. Oi, look what I did. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you for connecting. You know, we're all doing our best. There is not, you know, no, one advice fit all. Everybody has their own circumstance. Sometimes, as women, we can be also not too honest. Like exaggerating some things and brushing off other things. So I think it's very important to be honest about the situation, then you can fix it. It's important to take responsibility. You know, I'm learning as I'm maturing, as I'm living my life. I am learning more and more that your life is your responsibility. Your life is your responsibility. If you're in a bad relationship, it's your responsibility. If you don't like your environment, it's your responsibility. It's not to be to blame, but it's like that was your choice. You can change it. You can change things. You can make things better, you know? So, with that being said, my beautiful friends, thank you so much for joining. If I didn't read your comment, or maybe you're driving, please write me your comments below. I love when I get comments from new people. It means so much to me when I get comments or letters from new people. You know, maybe you've been watching me for years, but you never commented. I would love to hear from you, because you don't know how inspiring it is to hear feedback. So thank you for those of you who does it. I got some people that I had no idea been watching me for many years, and it just was so beautiful. I just love that. And if if you can't afford any kind of personal service like consultations or those are, I understand those are expensive. I mean, we don't say the word expensive. Those could be an investment, but a lot of times I can read your story or I can make a video. You know, there are many ways. If you want to support me, you can go to my Coffee site, go to my Patreon, or you can just write a comment, share the video, put a like. It's also a great support. It's also a wonderful support. Nico is saying, not too honest. You don't say really. You know in which way I mean that women are often not too honest. In this particular meaning, I want to say is that sometimes when two people describe the same situation, same relationship, um, it sounds like they are describing some completely opposite things. You know, and I think we all live we all have our reality and we all live in our own delusion, more or less. That's why I'm saying not to honest. Sometimes as a woman, you know, this man showed you right away that he's not going to support you, he's not going to protect you, he's going to, let's say, he's going to use you, for example, right? He showed that, but you chose to say, oh, like I literally have friends and people like this that I know that I can see that you are dating a man, he is not even straight. He's not even straight, not in his behavior, not he's, and we need to live through our own experiences. Sometimes you see things that are so vivid, but when you are in love, you tend to beautify it, you tend to justify it, you tend to, women especially, sometimes we were waiting, we feel like we were waiting for this for so long. So we see that this man is just not right man for us, but we still go for it. And men do the same thing very often. You see that this woman, she's not interested in no real relationship. She's not even available. She's not a wife material, but you like her body because it makes you feel certain way and you go for it. So I mean, we all very often doing this. I don't know why we are doing this, because we are the ones who live with the consequences of it, but here we are. So anyway, I think that you don't have to even publicly admit things. I think as long as we admit things to ourselves, we are good. As long as you admit things, it's like your own feelings are valid. If you have a strong feeling about something, you have a reason why you have that feeling. You don't have to open up and tell everybody the details. I am actually against telling everybody your intimate details about your relationships. But when you're honest with yourself, it helps you to get out of the bad situation. When you realize, okay, I made a mistake. This person never loved me. This person cared about how I make them feel. They never cared about my heart. Otherwise, they wouldn't just disappear from my life and drop from the planet Earth. It's sometimes you have to, when you tell yourself the honest, harsh truth, you have a chance for a better life. You don't have to lie to a woman in order for her to like you. If she likes you, she will lie to herself. That's a saying. That's a saying I've heard, very true. Okay, you don't have to lie to a woman in order for her to like you. If she likes you, she will lie to herself. Yeah, women very often will say, yeah, but she likes me. I have this one acquaintance, and her man treating her so terribly, sometimes in front of everyone. And she would always tell me stories how he's looking out for her, how he's taking care of her. And I'm just thinking, okay, well, I just saw how he ignored you in front of everyone. I just saw how he made you pay half of a bill, even though he has been with you for years. And we are out. I mean, yes, women would convince themselves from a hello, good morning message that you are in love with them, yes. But this is a woman with a wounded and self-esteem. It's a horrible, horrible thing. I mean, it's very sad. Women would stay very often in relationships when a man, you even know he's trying to, if you think about it, he's doing everything that you leave. He doesn't want to be the bad guy to tell you leave or go away, but he doing everything. He's ignoring you. He's not tending to your needs. He's being very cold. He just wants you to leave. I think for a woman is very damaging. I'm gonna say this for ladies who watching me. Unless man is head over heels over you, unless he's showing with his behavior again and again that he truly loves you, such a beautiful thing. It's such a driving force. It's so, we can actually love a man more when we see how dedicated he is. We might even not find him that attractive at first, but then when we see his dedication, we feel his love. Before you know it, you start to realize that you have feelings for him, because we have this nature where we react to that man drive, to man who doesn't ask for direction, man who knows what he's doing. I felt it in my life. I know exactly what it is when you feel that strong masculine drive, that protection, that man who has a plan, that has a direction. You don't want it, but you start to fall in love for this man. So don't ever convince yourself about a man who have hard time responding to your text and not making plans ahead of time, and your birthday ever always a surprise. He never remembers any dates. You can try to make it happen, but why? I'm gonna say this last thing. For a woman, this was another video I want to make, but for a woman, it's better to not have a man, to not be attached to a man, than being with a man that is not interested, that not really. He's kind of there because you're just a placeholder. It doesn't really want you. It's better not to have anybody. It's better to focus on your health, on your sleep, on your, I don't know, on your personal preferences, how you want to spend your time. Give yourself some freedom to just recharge your batteries. Is better to have nobody than to have a man that is not interested, that you need to convince, because it's impossible. And men who are watching me, do you agree how I feel about men? I feel that it's impossible to convince a man to like you. It's impossible. It's impossible. He will just wonder why you are so stupid. But I've never felt like a woman, if she stays when you ignore her, I don't think you grow fonder of her. A man who is barely, like, reluctantly replies you, he doesn't really want to invest in you, like, he doesn't he's not really, has no initiative, but he's kind of holding. That's just a waste of time. It still takes away from our energy where we can put in ourselves. We can go do our hair, read a book. I don't know, there are so many things to explore. Sometimes it's a beautiful thing to be free for a moment, because you don't respond to anybody and you can just really be yourself for once. Communicating with a man always take our feminine energy, our feminine, like, we are feeding man with our presence. So if the man is not interested, just, it doesn't mean that you're not beautiful. It doesn't mean that you're not a gorgeous woman. It doesn't mean that you're not attractive. You're just not his cup of tea. That's all. There is no point to beat the dead horse. Just let him let him be, darling. Let him be. Let him find what he's looking for. Don't convince yourself. That was a beautiful. Don't convince yourself that he like you. He doesn't. He doesn't like you. He doesn't want you, because when a man likes and wants a woman, he makes it known. Period. All right, guys, we're gonna be wrapping up for real now. Thanks so much for joining. Well, I skipped almost a week because of this rare disease. I'm just kidding. Hopefully not that rare and curable. Too many expectations from men and women. Go back to caveman days, no dating. I don't know. I think we were meant to be together, but you just don't know when. And we shouldn't try to make something out of nothing. I think that there are periods of time where we meant to be single. There are periods of time in our life when we meant to be alone. We meant to grow. We meant to get to know ourselves. We we also meant to enjoy life a little bit sometimes. It's a beautiful thing. I have periods in my life when I can't even think about being next to a man because I have too many things going on. I am too happy. But companionship, when it's beautiful, when it's from the heart, is very enriching. It's the most beautiful thing. But let's not try to make this thing when it's not there. Sometimes we meant to spend certain parts of our life enjoying our own company. There is nothing wrong with that. So I understand what you mean, Nico. Um, a man wants a woman needs a man. Well, I think Honestly, I think both. A man wants and needs a woman too. Men also needs a woman. It's just not common to say this, but men also needs a woman. I mean, it doesn't mean he's gonna die without a woman, but there is certain things that only a woman can give to a man if it's genuine, and it's a lot more than just that one thing that everyone's thinking about. It's a lot more than that. It's the presence, the touch, the connection. You can't get it anywhere else. But it doesn't mean that you will die. And a woman needs a man for sure, for protection, for beautiful things. But also a woman wants a man too, because it's fun. When you have the right man, it's the right person, it can be so pleasurable. But also, we were born not attached to anybody. If we needed somebody we can live without, we would come attached to them, like those twins, that they have to separate, with the operation. We are not born like this either. So I think we were meant to have different experiences. Also, every single one of us have our own unique destiny. And I think the best thing we can do is just make peace with it and make the most of it. With that being said, my dear friends, as I'm fading into the dark, I am wishing you a beautiful evening. Thank you so much for adding the spark to the conversation, and I will see you very soon. There is nothing better than a feminine woman who cares about him. Agreed. Yes. On this beautiful note, we're going to end this live. Thank you so much for joining. Please comment, share, subscribe if you enjoy my videos, or if you're not sure, give it a chance. Thank you. I will see you very soon. Thank you so much for joining.